Looking over his slowly sprawling map, Jamie prepares for another day of striking out into the rural farmland of Kentucky. Having to continually drive further and further, he still prays that he'll come across the manual for the generator that he needs, but feels the draw back to West Point in the back of his mind. Finding himself going through the motions as he loots house after house, he begins to question if this truly was the best way forward, before finding a home that feels like a slap in the face. Nothing but newspaper and dog food. Was this truly worth fighting through the undead for? Why is he out here risking his life when he could so easily be holed up in his distant sanctuary? Desperate to find something to show for his day, he explores some more and comes across a small town, though a glance at its outskirts only provide redundant supplies and roaming undead. Waking up the next day, he thinks nothing of his plans to strike out again in hopes of a miracle, but finds himself questioning the plan as he reflects quietly in the tranquility of his dock. There is nothing more out there for him, at least not at the moment. Now it was clear as ever that it was time for him to put down roots and prepare for a life in this new world. As he begins to put his mediocre carpentry skills to use, he realizes that the endless expanse of the outdoors no longer has the stranglehold it once had on him, allowing him to enjoy the chirping of birds and the bubbling of the river instead of the strangled cries of the undead. Dispatching a lone intruder that had found her way into the neighboring home, Jamie knows that constructing the gate to his yard is now necessary. Otherwise, a single stray could find their way to his throat while he slept. Knowing that he'll need timber and hinges, Jamie is also aware of his lacking abilities when it comes to construction, making plans to address all these needs in the coming days. Having not wielded an axe since his uncle had forced him to when he was a child, Jamie's first strikes are clumsy and weak, but his persistence sees him through. Feeling good about getting half the wall constructed, Jamie retires to the calm of his garden to read up on other skills he imagines he'll need in the coming months. Life is a strange thing, to be sure. Before all this, my biggest concern was stepping outside. Horrible beasts, diseases, fallen trees, natural disasters. I saw death around our world and comfort within the walls of civilization. Now, perhaps with the forced perspective of these shambling horrors, I've come to face the reality of my life. Nature is nothing but a resource, a tool, sometimes even a source of peace. I no longer shiver at the thought of leaving my home, though I'm finding less and less reasons to leave my sanctuary by the river. Jamie. Having his heart full of hope as he watches his home building up around him, he continues to decipher the handiwork of those who came before him, until a familiar, unwelcome guest appears. Initially feeling the spike of dread that coincides with the slapping of the helicopter's deadly blades, Jamie comes to the realization that there is no longer a need to panic. Instead, he calmly stays out of sight and finds a discarded book to pass the time. Though he's found a renewed peace in his isolation, Jamie wakes up the following morning knowing that he can't stay idle for long.